On the Masters in Management program, we have thought about many different improvements that we can make just really to improve that student journey. And I have been really inspired by my research in service design. And I've just thought maybe some of the principles of designing good service with sort of taking a human-centered approach, it could work on improving the program or thinking about the student journey. So I have started sort of experimenting a little bit with my sort of research outcomes and bringing them more to the classroom and working with my students to get to know them a little bit more. And we have run a few sessions with the students where the students get together as a whole cohort. And I asked them, make me a typical Masters in Management student. Show me what a typical student looks like, what they feel like, who they are. So my students come together and they work in teams, and each team develops a typical profile of an MSc Management student. So here you can see, here is Ivy Lee. We talk about her work experience, her education, how old she is. We think about her hobbies, her aspirations, her family. So we really look at the student as a human being. And what's really fantastic about this exercise is that it gives even the quietest students a voice, and they don't feel they have to talk about themselves. So it depersonalizes that sort of feedback process. And even students from cultures where it's not maybe acceptable to provide such an explicit feedback, so they can, draw through this exercise on just basically just talking about Ivy. So it's not them, but it is a representative of the cohort. So even just going through, a little exercise like this with the students, it really gives me a lot of understanding about their concerns, about, their aspirations, their worries, and what they would really like to achieve maybe in the future. After we look at this, I then ask the students, so what has the experience for Ivy been like since she arrived at Lancaster? And we then look together at the emotional journey that Ivy has gone through since the 1st of September when she arrived until February when we do the session, the first feedback session. And just look at the emotions, look how up and down her experience has been when she comes excited with high expectation, high hopes. And then straight away she starts missing her family. She's a bit homesick and a bit lonely. And then, she gets her first exam here in October. And, it's maybe she's a bit worried. She's never taken an exam in the UK system before. So I look and let the students to tell me a story of Ivy and walk me through their emotions and their experience. And then I reflect with the program team and we look at what does the program look like. So what happens in October when they are feeling homesick, when the weather is getting a bit cold and rainy, when they've maybe failed their first exam, what happens on the program? And we had a really big eye open when we looked at it with the careers team, because we then said, well, in October, this is the time when we bring the employers onto the campus, and we arrange all these mock interviews with the employers, and we put the students in front to improve their confidence. And then we looked at this curve, and I look for patterns. So this wouldn't be just curve for Ivy, this would be a reoccurring pattern. And I would think, okay, so how would they feel, if they are already feeling quite down and we are pushing them, to perform really well in front of, a prestigious representative from PwC, for example. So it just helps us reflect on the timing and the relevance of the learning that we are providing throughout the journey. And we have made quite a lot of adjustments. So we don't necessarily always change what we do, because I think we're quite a smart bunch. So I think we know that what we do is really good. But we probably think about how, how we do it and how we deliver certain learning to the students, how we deliver the sessions, how we co-design this experience, in order just to push those emotions a little bit higher. And somebody looked at this the other day and they said, oh, look, the high peaks are very rarely related to the academic life on the program. And, I just want to go back to what I was saying at the beginning about the program. For me is that whole experience of what the students go through is the chunk of their life here with us. In my case, it's the 1 year master's program. So this 1 year with us. And, it's nice to see that they are always very happy when it's their birthday, for example. So that was one of the patterns. And, how small adjustment, of just acknowledging everybody's birthday on the program, it can just make them feel much happier on the program as well, knowing that the program director is aware of this, of this peak in their life. So we look at the emotions, and I really believe that it's really important to acknowledge what they are going through emotionally as well as academically, then from the careers point of view, and then we look at the process and try to improve the experience.